My time is going to be off. I still don't think that that's going to be it. We would have been in 10 because we're at 5:59. I see it. Thank you, Kevin. So again, we're back. And the one thing that I do not like about this is because I send links on my other platforms to the live. And now, yes, the link will not be there. And there will be 2 lives instead of 1, broken up time-wise. Okay, so what were your answers? Thank you for coming back. What were your answers? Thank you, YouTube, for this amazing gift this morning. Repeat the question, please. Okay. The question is, of the 8 reasons why people find it difficult to be prepared, what questions do you have, or what is your takeaway from it? Did you learn something from that you didn't know? So did you go, oh, wow, I didn't know that? Or do you have questions? Do I need to repeat any one of the 8? Did you understand? And then in short, being prepared requires discipline, effort, and sometimes resources, and all of these can be challenging to manage at once. I would have never guessed that overconfidence would be one of the difficulties of being prepared. I thought that same thing, Kevin. That was the one that I was like, oh, really? So a big giant ego. I got this. Yeah, no problem. Move out of the way. I know what I'm doing. And then it goes left. And then after that, they blame the mic. If it's a speaking engagement, the people, the crowd, the fans just wasn't feeling it today. It was whatever it is. I don't know what's wrong with these people today. Never, ever says it's me. It's very interesting. I wonder what makes that happen. Nola, I didn't realize procrastination and preparation are connected. Yes, that's also a good awareness. All right, so how to be prepared. We got 10 ways to be prepared. Number 1, plan ahead early. So as soon as you know, start preparing. As soon as you know. When I found out I was pregnant with Nola in April of 2002, I literally started preparing. I was reading books, got my prenatal vitamins. When do I do what, when I was 5 months pregnant, I found out that she could hear. So every day at the same time, I put headphones on my belly and played classical music. I went to the library, got all the green eggs and hams, Dr. Seuss books, and I read. I do not like green eggs and ham. Sam, I am. Prepared. Was prepared for everything but the fact that she was 2 days late. And I know she's going to tell y'all I was 7 days late, yada, 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 whatever. I still prepared for that. As soon as you know, start preparing. That helps. Number 2, break it down into small steps. Use small, clear tasks and focus completely on one small step at a time. One small step at a time. So you have this big project. I had to plan the family reunion here. Backwards plan. Once we set the dates, got the hotel, backwards plan so I could tell people what time, when money was due, and all of the things that needed to take place, getting the vendors to help put the thing on, picking menus out, and all of that. So you break this big giant thing down into these small tasks, and then you execute those tasks with consistency and frequency to ensure that whenever the project is due or what you're working on is ready. Okay, number 3, you set deadlines for yourself. So set real deadlines. Don't say, yeah, we're going to take care of that next week. What day next week? What time next week? Wednesday, May 4th. And I know that's not correct because of how the, the week falls. But you can say Tuesday, April 29th at 4 p.m. We're going to have a meeting. So you have to set deadlines for yourself. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. Yeah, we're going to take care of that next month. I hate when I hear next month. I hate, okay, next month. What day is that? What time is next month? Later. I never seen later turn into now because it's not going to happen. So deadlines are very much important. Number 4, gather the right tools and information. Make a list of what you're going to need, materials, knowledge, skills, and then get them ready before you begin. You have to be prepared. As we said, one of the reasons why you don't prepare is because of limited resource and lack of skill. So have everything you need when you're ready for it. We set up a website for the family reunion, and people had did it before, but I forgot what format they was using, but it was terrible. So we actually went on GoDaddy, hosted it and everything for the months leading up to it, kept updating and putting information on it and all of that, so that everybody was really looking forward to coming to that. But you got to know how to actually set up a website. You got to know all of the things that you need to do. And way back when I started, you had to put the meta descriptions and all that in there. Now you don't have to do any of those things, but that knowledge made it so it was effortless for us to just get the domain name and go ahead and do that. So gather the right tools and the information. Number 5, practice. Don't just think. Practice real actions like rehearsing a speech, doing mock exams, walkthroughs, etc. So when Nola and I are at appointments and we have to pick up a big piece of furniture or something, we got to move it in a tight space. We do a walkthrough. Who's flipping what? Are we doing 2 flips on this desk? Or are we doing 1 flip? Am I turning this way? Mounting the TV? What side are you going to be on? It seems like no matter what we're mounting the television, I'm always on the side of the cord. Always. I'm like, why? I don't care if we're on the left wall, the right wall, don't matter what kind of TV it is. As soon as it's time to lift, I'm on the other side of the cord. I'm always on the side with the cord. But practice. Are we leaning it? Okay. Are we going to stand it up first, then rotate it? Who's rotating? You're going. If we're going up the steps, who's going up the steps backwards? You or me? Are we sliding it? Do we need to go get a dolly out of the car? All of those things we walk through ahead of time, because we haven't, and my head has gotten hit. I've gotten injured. Something has fallen on me. So as a result, walkthroughs are necessary. So practice, practice, practice. When I used to give speeches, especially when I was doing business strategy series, I would go over everything so that I could just make sure that I had it. Because what happened, one thing we learned when I was in Toastmasters, people have all these note cards. It might have been CIMT, one of them. And then if it falls on the floor, if you don't number your note cards and now you're nervous and shit falls on the floor, now you're talking about and summary and you just started, you prepare and you practice. And I practice so much, especially when I was doing performance-based training and CIMT training at Frito-Lay, that I would literally have the slides and I'm pointing my red pointer at the slides and standing. And if I'm going to, I forgot what it's called, when you plant yourself and then you walk across the room and you stay another point blocking, and then you stand here and talk, then you get to the next point. I would review the whole thing before I got up there, so that in the event that anything took place, I knew what I was doing, but also for it to appear effortless. It's a lot of behind the scenes effort to make it seem like it's effortless. Number 6 is to stay organized. As we mentioned before the live went off and we got back on, get organized and stay organized is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So keep your notes, materials, and schedules neat. Disorganization leads to confusion and missteps. That's why I number my day, and this is probably not going to show up, but I have the day of the week, the number of days. Today is number 540 for live, my start time, my end time, what the title is, my review, all the definitions, and then everything is highlighted from there. And I even put what we're going to do inside of the description of the live so that everyone knows what's taking place on the replay. But you have to stay organized 100%. If you are disorganized, you're not going to be prepared. And no matter what you do, this off the cuff, overconfident shit is not going to bode well for people on the receiving end of your lack of preparation. Number 7 is prepare for the unexpected. Always think, what if this happens? And have a backup strategy. So we call that war gaming inside of the war room. So we're saying, okay, this could be the attack, but what if this happens? What if this? What if this? What if this? And that helps you to better prepare. Now, sometimes, in Vietnam, they weren't prepared for the Tet at all, the Tet offense. It happened, and everybody's like, whoa, what the hell is this? But it took the Vietnamese people, I think it was 8 or 10 months to prepare for the Tet offense, which is why we were not successful in that time in the military history. So prepare, and then think, what if this happens? What if this happens? So, for example, because Nola has been doing this for so long, we pretty much have everything in her vehicle. And it's a rare occasion parts. I keep spare hardware, all kinds of things. We were doing a project the other day and we needed 1 screw, and we both have these bags. They look like doctor's bags. Mine is smaller because she does way more work than I do. And so we have to go get the doctor's bag sometime. And I actually had the piece of hardware in my doctor's bag because when people say they don't want the hardware, I'm like, we might need this later. And so I take it with me. And that was the one screw that we needed. I think it was a machine screw, and it fit, it worked, and we were able to continue to have that thing assembled because of how much is in the third row of her vehicle. So it's always this what ifs, what ifs. And then number 8 is to stay consistent, not perfect, consistent. And that's the one thing that people confuse be the best with be perfect. Be the best is not be perfect. The day that I had my PTSD moment, my best was to get through the live. And the day that I was tired, my best was to get through the live. Not be perfect. I'm just going to act like nothing is happening. Everything is grand and great. No, I'm not. I'm not. Sometimes your best is standing up straight, fully functioning. And that's it for that day. So stay consistent, but not perfect. Perfection is an illusion, and that is the problem. That's why you have people doing all this stupid ass plastic surgery. That's why you have people going in debt, trying to buy a bunch of shit so they can look perfect and everything else. I got 4 brain t-shirts. I'm looking at 2 other brain t-shirts. I'm not going to just buy them so I can say, ooh, look, I got 18 brain t-shirts. If it doesn't match, I'm not about to purchase it so it can look like I'm smart. I am smart. I'm extremely smart. And I will rotate the hell out of these 4 brain t-shirts and not be perfect because what I'm saying has more value than what I'm wearing at this current point and this current moment. So it is better to prepare a little each day than trying to be perfect at the last minute. If you don't prepare every day, you're not. I am in day 540 of lives. So if you were there and Kevin, you saw one of the earlier videos, I was figuring things out and I could have stopped because it appeared that this might not be working. But I got unwise counsel listening to macro and mega influencers. This is how you go live. So I'm like, okay, well, they have 100,000 followers and 2 million followers. They must know what they're talking about. They did for the things that they were doing. They both have physical products. I didn't take that into consideration. And then I realized you have services. You do not have physical products, and you talk about personal accountability. So you're going to have to switch. But it took me probably maybe about 50, 60 days before I started really understanding I need an agenda. I have to have a topic, and here's what we're going to talk about. And now 540 days, we are discussing the brain and the principles of real leadership. And it happened incrementally. The whole point was to get up, ready, fire, aim every day and improve on the daily basis. Number 9 is ask for help if needed. Sometimes being prepared means getting advice or help from someone with more experience. And additionally, I would say there are mornings when Nola wakes up and says, ask me, do I need to put something on the homepage of the YouTube channel for the live? No, you don't. We're good. Yes, you do. Here, we're doing Wire Wednesday. Change out all 3 of these playlists and replace them with these playlists. So you have to ask for help if you need help. And help others is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So go ahead and ask for help so that you can be as prepared as possible. And then number 10, and most importantly, is to stay calm and positive. Stress can make preparation harder. As you know, if you start stressing, you're going to leave from here and go take a quick jet. You know what I'm saying? You're going to just, teleport yourself on over here to the amygdala, and that's not going to bode well for anybody. So stress can make preparation harder. Stay calm, breathe deeply, and remind yourself that every small step is progress. I will repeat those 10. And it's how to be prepared. Number 1, plan ahead early. As soon as you know, start preparing. Break it down into small steps. You cannot eat an elephant in one sitting. And I wonder how elephants feel about that statement. Number 3, set deadlines for yourself. So they actually have to be times and days of the week and dates on a calendar when you do that. That's how you know that you actually have deadlines. And set reminders on your phone, Alexa, Siri, whomever. Go ahead and set reminders. And then number 4, gather the right tools and information. What are you going to need in order for this to take place? Number 5, practice, just don't think. Practice. I'm thinking about it. Well, I got everything in my head. This is how I'm going to get it done. No, you're not. You got to get it out of your head, get it down on some paper or in some type of electronic format. Number 5, practice, don't just think. Number 6 is stay organized. Throughout the whole entire process, stay organized. As soon as you get disorganized, you're going to get stressed and it's going to turn into a hot mess. Number 7, prepare for the unexpected. Number 8, stay consistent, not perfect. So if you said, we're going to meet on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. every week, then you got to meet on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. every week, even if you messed everything up and y'all got to start over. You still need to have the meeting to ensure that everything can continue to go in a forward trajectory. Number 9, ask for help if you need it. If you don't know, ask for help. Ask for help. So asking for help is necessary if you want this to be your best effort. And then number 10, stay calm and positive. Do not live in a hijacked amygdala state while you're trying to prepare for anything, because it's never going to work. You're going to shut off access to your frontal lobe. You will shut off access to logic, reason, thinking, executive functions. You're going to shut off access to your inhibition control. Then you're going to do something and say something that you regret. So don't do that. Preparation stays up here. What questions do you have about how to be prepared? Do I need to repeat any of them, or did you have any, whoa, I didn't know that that was a step in how to be prepared? And please don't tell me I got to go off live again. And we'll be doing a part 3. So if one of you could type ... just so I know that you're there thinking. Okay, Kevin, question. In the beginning of you doing lives, did you practice or rehearse, or did you just hit the button? Initially, I had ideas of what I was going to do. I did hit the button, but I had objectives. So every day I would go live at different times, because first I was doing it in the afternoon. And I did the research, and they said this is the best time to go live on TikTok. This is the best time to go live on Instagram. So that's what I did. I went and asked Mega, because for me it's be the best. So I go find out who the best is. And they said, just go live every day. Just go live every day. So I did. Initially, I had my own clothes on, had my hair that I would normally wear, and I was seeing what was there. So I would pick a topic and attempt to be on that topic. But what people didn't prepare me for was the trolls, was the, I want to ask a question. I love you so much. So it was that right here, right now, give it to me now, dopamine boost kind of thing. And so I was like, okay, let me figure this thing out, because I didn't know. Because if you have a physical product, then you're going to be talking about the pen. People are going to be asking you about the question, the pen. If I'm doing wipes, if I have these yoga cards, people do tarot cards. So they're asking you about what you were doing. And what I found is that when you actually are teaching people or gathering information, people who listen to lives on those 2 platforms don't really sit there for that, unless you're doing like Bible or math, one of those STEAM things. But the whole thing, and what I found is that people that are doing life coaches and all of that, they like the extemporaneous things because they weren't prepared. So I went live, and then I started gathering information, and I was like, well, because I was trying to do turnaround tactics when I first started. And turnaround tactics are on my website, and that's when you just need to start, stop, or continue something, and you just need a turnaround tactic. And it's $50. You tell me what you're working on, start, stop, continue. I send you the thing that you need. And that's how it started, because I was like, oh, let me start doing lives for turnaround tactics so people could see how easy it is, and then they could do that. And that was my initial thing. And then that didn't work. So I was like, okay, turnaround tactics ain't gonna work. And then that's when I realized, okay, it's time for me to have an agenda. But it was touch and go, because I started in November, and I think the one you saw was early December. So it's about 30 days in. And then by January 20 something, I've been looking at my notebooks the day I actually started. That's when I said, no, this is sheer utter chaos. I felt like Joe Clark in the movie Lean on Me. I was like, this is not going to work. So let's get some structure there. I didn't understand trolls, because I didn't really have a lot of trolls, and they were just coming and coming and coming. And it took a minute to get the audience to understand what they were doing. So hopefully I've answered your question. Nola is typing ... So everybody's live is different. I feel that way. Now, it should be different. I don't know that it is, but it is. The gamers, and you think about it, especially on TikTok, people wanted people to play join in. People were trying to join me because they were like, oh, I want to be on your live and all that. So it was overwhelming when I first started. And now it seems so very calm. And even when we switched from TikTok to YouTube, there was that influx of trolls, and I was checking people left and right. And now people just scroll on through. It's like, that's that lady talking about the brain. We can keep it pushing. All right, Nola, did you have anything, or you were just typing the ... for me? Got it. Yes. So just if you're thinking about going live, you just got to go live and have a strategy. and know that it's probably not going to work. But that's okay, because you can just take what worked and move it to the next day and move it to the next day and move it to the next day. And then 540 days later, you will have your format. So a year and a half in, do you think, would there be anything you don't need to prepare for? I don't think so. I really don't. Like I said, I don't even go downstairs without a doggone strategy for my snack. And the reason why is because if you're not prepared, you risk having a hijacked amygdala. So if you know your why am I going downstairs? I'm hungry. I need a snack. How full do I want to be? What time is dinner? What time is lunch? Because, and people will say that that takes the spontaneity out of it. And I say, bullshit. We have fun all the time. Definitely have fun. But if you don't know what you're doing, how do you know you did it right? If you don't have a strategy for it, if you're not prepared for this. Oh, we just drove to Vegas and got married. And how many people have woke up the next morning like, I didn't mean to do that? Because the lack of preparation means that you're going to shut off your inhibition control inside of the executive function of your brain, which means that you're going to do something or say something that you will end up having to recover from. I'm saying prepare all the time. And there will be times when when you did that bidet and that water came flooding out and we were like, what the hell? But because of me being able to, from the military and every Frito-Lay and everything else, I'm like, okay, where is the water valve? Shut off the main water valve and all of that. We were able to control the situation better than if we didn't have all of that other stuff that we were prepared for. Okay, we're going to actually look at one video. So if you go to, potentially two, if you go to the social media tab on the website and go to YouTube, and then once you're there, you're going to scroll past the wordplay playlist and you're going to go to question with a question. So social media tab, click on YouTube. It's the top link on that page. Go to the home page of YouTube, scroll down past the live and wordplay and arrive at the question with a question. And when you're there, just give me a thumbs up. So YouTube channel, homepage. Kevin is there. I was about to say, if I froze again, then we would just go back out and come back in. What else could I do? And while Nola is getting there, so question with a question came about because it's difficult to answer a question with a question. And there's actually, I believe it's a turnaround challenge, I want to say in playlist 1 or 2, where when you're having a conversation with someone, you have to respond with everything with a question, but not tell the person that that's what you're doing. And that always ends up being interesting when they have to do that particular challenge. It's funny how people are like, why do you keep asking me all these damn questions? So it's quite funny. Okay, you're going to be a question with a question, and the video that you're watching, I have a question mark on my forehead, and it's why have I allowed fear? So go ahead and you're going to watch it and then answer the question with a question. So you will be typing in a question. Your response you will type in. Kevin said, do I think I'm the only person stuck? I think that's what you meant. Do you think I'm the only person stuck? Got it. Why am I afraid to grow? Okay, great questions. Now, let me ask you both this. How did it feel having to form a question from a question? What did your brain do to answer the question with the question? What was that like for you? And I believe, Kevin, this is the part that you were talking about before we got off the first live. Just got to be prepared for what Dr. Don is going to do. Confusing because I'm like, did I do it right? Did you? It's very challenging to do. It is, because the brain, when it is asked the question, it wants to answer. You felt ghetto and hood. Okay, cool. The brain wants to answer the question with an answer. So to answer the question with a question means that you have to ask a question. So did Nola say confusing? Because I'm like, did I do it right? And I said, did you? Because that's what's making a statement, and both of y'all made statements, and so I asked questions. And it's just really teaching you how to answer questions and also create this new neural pathway of, did I do it right? Am I making a mistake? And it's okay, because the answer is the answer. And sometimes that's just the answer. It's not like, oh, Kevin, you did it right. Nola, you did it wrong, because that was your response. You're training your brain to do something different. And the reason why that works is because I'm always doing something different. I'm always taking something that should be done this way. You're doing it wrong, Dr. Donna. No, I'm not. I'm doing it differently. I'm creating a new neural pathway. So we were supposed to get to this playlist on Wednesday last week, but I was overly ambitious, as I always am. And so we didn't get to it. But it's difficult, number one, or challenging to make the question, because then I have to say, well, what will my answer be what would my question be to this? Can it be done? Yes, it can be. Okay, now let me go ahead and answer the next question. So again, it's just challenging yourself to do something that you wouldn't normally do. Okay, with that being said, what did you learn today, and what did you learn about yourself? So again, learned, answer, come back, myself, and do it that way. What did you learn today, and what did you learn about yourself? And it feels foreign and strange. And as Kevin mentioned at the beginning of the live, that's what I do. I would not be a good educator if you didn't find yourself going, that was different. That was strange. That's a new feeling. So what did you learn? And what have you learned about yourself today? And while you're saying that, if you are on TikTok Live and you had the other subscription, that subscription is no longer available. I did up the ante on TikTok. I think it's $9.99 a month on TikTok and Instagram. And here's why. Because what I've learned, and this is for you too, Kevin, after being on these platforms for Instagram since 2015, I think TikTok since 2019, is that there's a core group of people there. And based upon my analytics, what that core group of people is interested in. And the people on YouTube and LinkedIn are used to learning. That group of people are not used to learning. And having been on those platforms attempting to teach, they learn in micro spurts. And that's it. So what I decided is I do have the ability to have subscriptions on TikTok and Instagram. I didn't want to keep repeating myself on Mondays and doing the same lives again because that group is not interested in that. So I thought, well, what can I do on those platforms? And so this is something I've not done ever in life is welcome you into my life on the daily basis. And TikTok and Instagram will now be it's in your daily. And I will be putting videos on those platforms behind the wall for you to see. It's in my daily. What am I doing? And its videos are there now. I'm officially launching it on May 1st because my brain said, well, if you make this content and it's learning content, now you got to put it on YouTube. And I said, no, I don't feel like doing that. I'm not going to do that. So it is behind the scenes. What am I doing today? I did some yesterday. Did some more today. So I started from the time I wake up, making up my bed. What do I use to brush my teeth? What am I doing? What am I using in my morning routine? My nasal rinse, my toothpaste, peroxide. I'm about to shave my head. So what do I use? What shaving cream and what razor do I use to shave my head? Because people are interested in something that they don't have access to. So I've never just, because of the military, growing up in the hood and everything else, I'm like, y'all don't need to know all of that, but you can. You can know that behind the wall, right? That's the access for that. So those subscriptions are available on Instagram and on TikTok so that you can have access to me. And that's my challenge for myself because y'all think y'all know, but even people at Frito-Lay thought we were so cool. I'm like, y'all ain't never even been to my house. You ain't paid attention to that because you feel like you know me, but you don't know. You don't know what my furniture looks like. People know what my bed looks like because I say make up your bed, but that's it. But to actually know what it is that I'm using and doing on the daily basis. Yesterday we were at Lowe's, parked at Lowe's parking, the Lowe's Pro parking, and I'm like, we're at Lowe's, and my daughter is a Lowe's Pro. So these things that might be interesting, who knows how it will go? I have no idea, but people appear to want to know more about me because it isn't available. So it is available behind the wall. All right, Kevin, you learned systematize to arrange according to an organized system. And Nola, you said, I learned about myself if I was a combination of procrastinator and the overconfident person for my lack of preparation. Yep, that I agree with that. You resemble that remark. Additionally, I learned you should always prepare. There is no reason to not prepare. Correct. Kevin, myself, I need better discipline to help with my preparation. Yes. And again, when you look at why you're not preparing, so as you say that, Kevin, and you say better discipline, if you don't have the information, if you don't have the skill set, and if you're not asking for help, then you're not going to be prepared. And if you are overconfident, as Captain Apple used to say, well, if you wait to the last minute, it only takes a minute. And that's why we call them 8 Up Alpha Company, because they were toe up from the flow up. ATFU. Look that up. That's the acronym from the military if it's still on Google. ChatGPT might be able to tell you what it is too. So yes, you want to be able to prepare. And if you find yourself, people, I don't have time to prepare. I don't have time to prepare. You do if you don't have any unaccountable people around you. You definitely have the ability to prepare when you get rid of all of the unaccountable people. When you hold everybody in your life personally accountable, you will have time to prepare. When you don't hold people in your life personally accountable and you're doing all their shit too, no, you don't have time to prepare. Every grown person in your life that is of sound mind needs to be personally accountable for themselves. Even if they need some type of assistance, where they don't need assistance at, they need to be personally accountable. Point blank, period. I don't care who you are. If you're taking care of elderly parents and too, whatever things that they can do themselves, they need to be held accountable for doing those things themselves. And then it's easy to say, well, I'm a caregiver. You're just using that shit as an excuse so that the rest of your whole fucking life could just be falling apart and you're going to keep saying that. I'm like, they go to sleep. What you doing? You can take 20 minutes and wash the dishes and shower and take care of yourself, read or do something. 15 minutes of personal time a day will make a difference in everything that you do, 100%. So in summary, prepare, dare to prepare. It will take you everywhere everywhere that you want to go. If you are not somewhere that you want to be, it's because you didn't prepare. And I will say, I'll be sitting at an appointment, Nola forgot a step. I'm like, how the hell we get here? How come I didn't know about this? And now she getting checked because there's a system in place for that. So do not do anything without a strategy, and that means preparing for anything and everything that you do. All right, that is my time for today. I'm used to it being longer than that. This 35 minutes is throwing me off because it should be 1:05 at this point. Okay, I will be back tomorrow, God willing, higher power and the universe. Same time, same place, same amazing face, different brain t-shirt. You all go off and have a magnificent Monday. Take care. Adios.